Okay, you're talking about. Here we are.
Hey.
Wait a second.
We're always talking about how we should start pushing record before we push record. And so here we go.
Hi.
I'm Erica.
I'm Em. And this
Black
is
circles
the shit show.
Thanks for joining us again. So I was just talking about how every single thing in our lives comes down to fear or love. So every decision you make, every statement you make, every question you ask, every
Thought you have.
every thought you have, every
Feeling.
word, every feeling could be from a place of fear or love. Like those are the two. If we're breaking down polarities of our human experience, those are like the two foundational ones, right? So if somebody doesn't want to come visit us, or if somebody has decided to come visit us, right? Like they said before we left to Mexico, they said, we're going to come visit you at some point. And then they start looking at excuses, which always come in, right? All of those excuses are based on love or fear. So I'm scared I'm not going to have internet. I'm scared I'm not going to be able to...
I'm scared I'm going to get sick. I'm scared,
some of the fears that I had were, it was an experience I had last year. I got sick twice, very sick. So that was one of mine. What are other fears that people... I'm scared there's not going to be enough time. I'm scared that it's going to be too busy.
It's not even a fear that you know. It's just that it's new and different,
Right.
and unknown. And to me, like a lot that has come up is just the unknown, right? So like all of that is unknown.
It's
Like, am I going to
all of it.
have internet? And is the food going to,
Am I going to have people to hang out with? Is Micah going to have fun? Is the beach safe? Is the...
safety too, yeah.
Are the restaurants open? Am I going to get food poisoning? That's always one for me. And and she doesn't worry about it, so it's not in her reality, which is beautiful. And so
So we're talking a lot about fear, which is
very
one choice.
Yeah, that's one choice. And so the opposite is love, right? Like, and that's what today's lesson is really diving into, I believe, because everything that exists is created by us, and we create it from a space of love or a space of fear. And so the lesson for today is God. Okay, so another thing that we want to talk about is A Course in Miracles uses the word God.
The G word.
G-O-D. So if you are comfortable using that word, use it. If you're comfortable using source, use that. If you're comfortable using the universe, use that. Whatever, higher self, higher power.
Yeah.
There's a bazillion words for that. And so today's lesson from A Course in Miracles specifically is God did not create a meaningless world. And so you can say Source did not create a meaningless world. You are part of Source. You are Source. So you did not create a meaningless world. And what Source did not create does not exist. Everything that exists as Source created it. And the world you see has nothing to do with reality. It is of your own making, and it does not exist. So that's where it's really powerful to make that distinction of where you're coming from. Is it love?
Or is it fear?
So today's exercise is from with eyes closed. And you do it 3 times. If you're comfortable doing it, you can do it up to 5.
Is that true? I
That's
thought
what
it
this
said
says.
only 3. Oh, interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
How funny.
3
Well, there you
practice
go.
periods with today's idea, unless you find them comfortable. If you do, it will because you really understand what they are for. So this is rewiring again. It's neuroplasticity. Congratulations for making it this far and committing to this amazing transformation that we're both experiencing as well.
Yeah.
Right?
This is our journey as well as yours, so thank you for being here with us.
Yeah. So the early steps in this exchange, which can be truly called salvation, can be quite difficult and even quite painful. Some of them will lead you directly into fear. You will not be left there. You will go far beyond it.
I liked that. That felt good. That to me, I guess I want to highlight, is like you're not going to be left in the fear, right?
Which is also a fear.
Right.
Because our maybe past experiences with anxiety or worry or concern is that it's just like this never-ending cycle.
It's like when you don't want to start crying because you're afraid you'll never stop.
Yeah.
Like that's not
Yeah.
true.
So our direction is towards perfect safety and perfect peace. So you start with your eyes, the whole exercise is with your eyes closed, and then you start thinking of all the horrors that cross your mind. And when they do, you say,
God or source,
the universe,
not create that, and you describe it specifically. So
God did not create that war, and so it is not real.
And instead of like, also there's a specific thing that says like not necessarily God didn't create illness, but you could say God didn't create cancer. So like if it's something specific, be specific with it, and then follow it with,
and so it is not real. Anything you are afraid of might happen to you or anyone whom you are concerned. In each case, name the disaster, quite specifically.
Yeah. So you do it three times, up to 5 times, up to a minute, eyes closed. Use the word that feels good to you, or aligned to you. Source did not create blank, so it is not real. And then you wrap it up with God did not create a meaningless world. Honestly, I've done this exercise twice today. And in some ways, and maybe, I don't know if this is getting it or not, it felt really freeing to just kind of name some stuff that came up, you know, and just be like, oh. And then it felt freeing to just be like, oh, it's actually not real.
Yeah.
Like that, it felt good.
That's awesome.
Not that it needs to feel good. That may not be part of the exercise.
No, it says if you feel comfortable, then you're getting it.
Yeah, it's in some ways it's like I'm also watching this kind of cheesy show on Netflix called The Good Witch. Anyways, and the last episode was talking about like just facing stuff sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Like, and it was reminding me too of when I remember one time in undergrad I decided like anything that scared me I was gonna face, and actually that led me to travel. And I can't remember if it was to Brazil or to Ecuador, but I remember, and then even on that trip I kept that like, oh, if that's scary, which led me to eating a maggot, which might sound gross, but whatever, like it was fine, it did nothing to me, you know. But it was just a time to be like, wow, if it scares me, like, listen to this. What does this mean? And I mean, I had a lot of pushback from family and friends, like for traveling internationally, and just their fear that they were like throwing on me.
Yeah.
Not throwing, I mean, I didn't have to absorb it. Anyway, so I had this like experience of being like, wow, it feels good to just see it. And then be like, oh, well, it's not real.
See it and then do it anyway.
Yeah, and see it, and also not like go down this rabbit hole, right?
Yeah, because
like,
that's where
it's like you see it and you're like, oh, not real.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's, I'm actually, even though when I initially read the exercise, I was like, oh, this is gonna be like, oh my God, you know?
Because I'm sure a lot of horrors pass through our minds these days. I have to be honest, I haven't done the exercise yet. I will start as soon as this video is over.
Thanks for being honest.
Yeah.
Facing the fear of what happens when you're truly honest and authentic.
Transparent. Yeah. Wow. Nothing's going to happen.
Well, thanks
So
for
yeah,
being with us.
just recap.
Recap 3 times.
3 times, eyes
Eyes
closed.
closed.
Whatever passes your mind, whatever horror or disaster passes your mind, God, source, the universe, my higher self did not create this. So it is
not real.
So it is not real.
And then at the end of the session, God did not create a meaningless world. And we love you.
We do love you.
We would love
I hope
to
you're jamming out with the music.
Yeah, we've got some rad music. Musica. We would love to hear from you too.
Yeah.
Let us know how it's going.
Yeah.
And
We love you.
we love you.
Ciao.
Bye from the
Bye.
Shift Show.